Buongiorno, welcome back to my channel. Today is another fragrance haul, and this time I am going to share with you all the summer fragrances that I bought. These were not purchased recently. It's kind of a collective haul. Most of them I actually bought last year, and since I tend to use fragrances in their season, so it was winter, I did not open them, so I still have to unbox them. So I have here 15 fragrances in total, or as I said, are summer fragrances. So they are your fresh, citrusy, light floral, and I have a couple of more of tropical fragrances, let's say. But before unboxing these fragrances, if you are new to my channel, hi, welcome. My name is Noura, and on this channel I mostly talk about fragrances. I do also some makeup, skincare and lifestyle in general, so if this is your thing, then please subscribe and also hit the notification bell so you will get notified when I upload any new video. So follow me on Instagram, where I post some exclusive content that I don't do here on YouTube. And without further ado, let's start. So I'm not going to follow any particular order. So the first one that I have here is Dolce & Gabbana Lighht Blue Sun, a flanker of the famous Light Blue that came out I think 4 years ago. If I remember correctly, it had frangipani, so it was kind of a tropical take on the Light Blue DNA. Here is the bottle, and I think the color says everything. So let's smell this one. Yeah, it's almost as I remember it. I have to admit, I remember more frangipani. You can still smell the light blue DNA here, but it's more floral and has, in comparison with light blue, less of this fruity touch. So in the light blue original one, I got a lot of the Granny Smith apple and the muscina note. Here it's fresh and floral. I can't really say I smell frangipani though, at least for now, but I remember that definitely in the dry down I could get it. I have a full review, by the way, of the new flankers that came out this year, Italian Love. I will leave it in the description down below and also in the eye up here if you want to know all about the new flanker. But honestly, I prefer this one. Do I prefer it to the one that came out last year, the Forever flanker? Well, I have to test them around and tell you, but both of them are my favorite flankers for sure. Let's get to the next one. From the Replica line, we have Under the Lemon Tree. This is just a small size, and here is the bottle. I actually really like the bottles of the Replica line. So this one I fell in love with when I did my buying guide on the Replica line. Again, you will find it in the description down below. Yeah, this is so good. So I think the name tells you how this fragrance smells. So it's very lemony, but it has also a green touch. So Under the Lemon Tree I find quite fitting. It has also a tea note, which you can smell. So I always describe this fragrance as if you are sitting under a lemon tree, so you have the smell of the leaves of the tree, of the fruit, and you are sipping a green tea. So it's a fragrance that I would recommend for both lemon or citrusy lovers and also tea lovers. You all know how much I love my citrus fragrances during summer, and this is a great addition to my collection. Next I have from an Italian brand, L'Herbolario. This is a drugstore brand, I think you can call it, and they also do perfumes. So this one is Cocco, which is coconut. It's definitely a coconut fragrance. And you all know I don't like coconut fragrances. And definitely I don't like the opening, but in the dry down it doesn't bother me so much. So it's your typical coconut fragrance. So alongside the coconut you have tiare flower, and it's quite strong. You see, it's getting better. Somehow this very strong tropical, for me, cloying coconut note does fade away just a little bit for me to tolerate. But to be completely honest, I mainly bought this one for layering purposes. So for fragrances where I want to add some tropical touch, you know. I don't think that I will wear this one on its own. Not that you can wear it on your own, you definitely can. But for me, wearing this on its own during summer, it's just too much. But I think for layering, it will work beautifully. So that was Cocco from L'Herbolario. By the way, I highly recommend that brand. It's very affordable, and I wouldn't say that their fragrances are mind-blowing. They do have one that is definitely mind-blowing for me, and that is Maris. I definitely recommend you check that fragrance. It's more of an ambery winter warm spicy fragrance. An amazing fragrance for the price. Now from the same brand I have another fragrance, and this is Tea Leaves, and this is the bottle, and I absolutely adore this bottle. The thing that I love about this brand is that since it's very affordable and they have the whole set, so you can buy the fragrance, the creams, the shower gel, etc., sometimes even more. I like to use them for after the shower kind of a fragrance, so I have them on a tray. When I am in the mood of pampering myself, I always do that. So anyway, let's talk about Foglie di Te or Tea Leaves. It's shockingly a tea fragrance with a citrusy touch. I would say there's definitely bergamot, and it's extremely refreshing. My problem with tea fragrances is that they usually smell too synthetic. I don't find this in this fragrance. So refreshing. Absolutely love it, and I also love the packaging. It's beautiful. So that was Tea Leaves from L'Herbolario. Now, last fragrance from this brand is Accordo Arancia. So this is an orange fragrance. Here it is. Not a big fan of like the packaging, but the smell I definitely like. Is it my absolute favorite orange fragrance? I wouldn't say that. But for an after the shower, like an easy grab for those who love orange fragrances, it definitely works. It's quite simplistic, and I smell also a kind of an aromatic touch, but it's less aromatic or like less petitgrain, like for example the fragrance that I featured in my last haul, Orange Soleil from Guerlain. I still have to play with this fragrance. I can tell you that it is my absolute favorite, but again, I need these fresh, easygoing, cheap fragrances for after the shower, and this is definitely suitable for that. Now, since we talked about tea, let's get to another tea fragrance that every time I go into the store, I always test it, and I'm totally obsessed with it. This is Fleur de Te from Karl Lagerfeld. This is my first fragrance from Karl Lagerfeld. I tested almost all of his fragrances, but I was not really impressed. Some of them were nice. This one just stood out for me. I loved it, so let me remind myself. Again, citrusy, tea, slight aromatic touch, but again, a very well balanced fragrance. You can't expect the fragrance to last very long or to project immensely, but for the price, I mean, I don't care. And to be completely honest, this for me smells more citrusy than tea, you know. So if we compare, for example, the Foglie di Te or Tea Leaves with this one, this is more sweet, it's more floral, while this has more of a green touch and more of the tea. So although they are in the same category, they are definitely different fragrances. And I would say this is a fragrance that I would wear on the go, like an everyday kind of a scent, while Tea Leaves, the one from L'Herbolario, is for me more of for an after the shower or for days when it's extremely hot and I want something to refresh me. I would go with the L'Herbolario Foglie di Te one. Next is a fragrance from another Italian brand called Acqua dell'Elba. Elba is an island off the coast of Tuscany, and this is quite a famous brand here in Italy. All of their fragrances are in the same category, so fresh summer fragrances. And honestly, I don't remember how this one smells, so let me spray it. It's fresh, it's floral. The orange blossom really stands out here. There is a powdery touch. It's also a little bit citrusy, but not like the other fragrances that I was talking about. This is definitely more floral. It's also a little bit musky. It's a beautiful scent and is quite affordable. One of my dreams for this channel is to go through all these like kind of well-known Italian brands that are located in different parts of Italy. Go there, show you the place, and maybe do an interview with the perfumers or owners of the brand. Yeah, maybe one day. Anyways, this one I highly recommend for those who love a fresh floral fragrance that is very easygoing, very Italian-like a little bit. Anyway, let's move on. If I didn't mention the longevity and sillage of any of these fragrances, then you know I still have to play with it. And I think, yeah, most of these fragrances I can talk about the longevity and sillage. Next is from the Allegoria line. This is Bergamote Calabria. This is just a travel size. I am a big fan of the Allegoria line from Guerlain. Allegoria, Atelier Cologne, and also the Blue Mediterranean line from Acqua di Parma are my favorite fresh summer fragrances. I had a sample that I finished off this fragrance long time ago, so I can't remember exactly how it performs, but the smell itself is as predictable as the name. So it's a fresh bergamot. It's very beautiful, and what makes it different to other bergamot fragrances that I have in my collection is the slight spicy touch, because there is ginger in the notes. There's also cardamom, so it's kind of a spicy bergamot fragrance. Actually, cardamom is in quite a few bergamot fragrances because I feel that they combine very well. However, here it's the ginger that really makes the difference for me. And to be completely honest, I bought it because I wanted to do a dedicated video on bergamot fragrances, and I can't do that without Bergamote Calabria because it's one of the most famous bergamot fragrances. But I don't need it in my collection, if that makes any sense. Let's move to a blind buy, and that is Me from Lanvin, or Me Low, to be specific. Now, I have no idea how this fragrance smells like. I've never even tested the original Me, so I don't know. Not a fan, not a fan. It smells very cheap, very generic. It's very musky, and it's a very cheap musk, so it has the same musk base that Lava Éclat de Fleur has, but here it has kind of green, not green, but a sharp edge. Yeah, it has a sharp edge to it. I don't know from which note. It's definitely florals. It could be peony, you know, these very watery, fresh florals. It's getting better, so the musky, harsh note is a little bit better now, but still, I don't know. I have to test it around. First impression, I'm not a fan, although I definitely like the bottle. It's nice. Anyway, so that was a failed blind buy. Another blind buy is Chance au Vive. I'm a big fan of the Chance line. I have Chance Au Tendre, I have Chance Au Fraîche. I had a discount, so I thought I definitely will love also Au Vive. So let's see, because I looked up the notes and it was something right up my alley. So let's see. Oh, this is beautiful. You see, it's also musky, but here the musk is totally different to the musk in Lanvin. There is definitely this DNA that is also in Chance Au Fraîche, but it's different. It's beautiful. Actually, I'm going to make it the scent of the day. I love it. I mean, if you want a fresh fragrance that is classy, you can't go wrong with Chanel. Oh, it's so beautiful and refreshing. It's even more refreshing than Eau Fraiche. I still have to compare them side by side, but I think I love this one even more, or I don't know. It's different. This is more citrusy, and from what I remember, Eau Fraiche was a little bit more sweeter in comparison. It's not a sweet fragrance, but in comparison, it's more sweet. Now let's get to this baby here. Florabotanica from Balenciaga. This was quite hyped up for the longest time on YouTube, and suddenly no one talks about it. Anyway, I found it on a great price, and although I didn't like it, to be honest, when I smelled it the first time, I said to myself, well, there must be something behind all of that hype. And I love the bottle also. Yeah, the bottle is beautiful. This is really beautiful. Oh, the design is just so interesting. I don't know. So let's check this fragrance. What really made me buy it is that a lot of YouTubers who actually don't like green fragrances loved it. And when I smelled it in the store, it was very green, and I'm not a fan of green. There is kind of a cannabis note in it. So let's see. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. No. I mean, people say they can't smell cannabis. I definitely can't smell cannabis. Okay, I can also smell the rose, yes, but the cannabis is there. As you all know, fragrances are subjective, and sometimes people smell notes more predominantly than others, and everyone's experience is different with fragrances. So I'm not saying that they are lying, but for me, I can smell the cannabis. Yeah. I smell the rose, and it's actually a beautiful rose, but the cannabis is there. Maybe it will fade away in the dry down, or maybe when I wear it on my skin, it will be a different story. I don't know. Have to play with it. For now, no. Now let's move to another one that a lot consider as a beautiful fresh cheapie. This is Versace, cosa? Versense or Versense, I don't know. Now this is again a blind buy. Okay, first impression, I'm not blown away. It definitely reminds me of another fragrance. It's again fresh. There is, I would say, a lot of citruses, like different citruses. It's a slightly floral and has a touch of powderiness. It's getting more floral than citrusy. It was very citrusy in the opening. Now it's more floral. It's musky, slightly sweet, but not too much. Yeah, but it definitely reminds me of another fragrance. I don't know. Is it mind-blowing? No. And it's already like fading away, so I'm not sure about the longevity. But I like the bottle though, it's nice. Okay, I don't know about this fragrance. I still have to play with it. I had to go and get my son from school. So I was like walking and I got this wafts of this fragrance and I was strange. This is not exactly Chance au Vive. And I smelled my arm. It's not Chance, but every time some wind came in my direction, I got this beautiful scent. So at the end, I figured it out. So it's the combination of Chance au Vive with Cocco from L'Herbolario. Let me tell you, this combo is amazing. So I'm really happy about that. I have also to mention that the longevity on Chance au Vive is not so great. So since I returned, I sprayed Florabotanica on my arm here. And let me tell you, on skin, I don't get the cannabis note. But I don't know if I can recommend this fragrance, honestly. It's kind of green herbaceous rose, but in a good way. It's strange. It's quite a... See, a lot of people say it's like walking into a garden. No, I don't get that so much. It's an authentic rose, yes, but still it has some elegance to it in a way. So it's quite a strange fragrance that I definitely have to play around and see, but I don't see myself falling in love with it, at least for now. So I had to mention that because the cannabis note doesn't really come out on skin, at least on mine. Now let's move to my last three fragrances. Let's start with this one, Calvin Klein Women. This is the Eau de Toilette, also Eau de Parfum. This is the Eau de Parfum. And mainly I got this one because they compare it to I Love Love and Light Blue and these fragrances. So I was already planning on doing a video on all like Light Blue, I Love Love, Cedar Atlas, I Love Osmanthus, all of these very fresh, a little bit aquatic feeling fragrances. Yeah, I get the resemblance. It's this synthetic musk, fresh, but it has like a sharp edge that Light Blue and I Love Love doesn't have. Like I don't know, like a little bit like pencil shaving, you know. So I guess there is Izui Super in this one. I see why they compare it to this genre of fragrance. So I Light Blue and I Love Love. Yeah, not bad, but I can't say that I would recommend it over the ones that I mentioned, but still I have to play with it. Maybe I will, I don't know. Let's get to the next one. This is the Michael Kors Wonderlost Eau Fresh. So I have three Wonderlost. So the original one, the Eau Voyage, and now the Eau Fresh. From the ones that are available still on the market, there is only one that I don't have. I think it's Eau Sensuelle. I don't remember. And that one I didn't like at all, and this is why I didn't buy it. So maybe I will do a review on the whole line. I definitely find Wonderlost one of the most underrated fragrances, especially jasmine fragrances on the market. I don't see a lot of people talk about it, and I don't know why, because I love that fragrance. And also the Eau Voyage I have been wearing a lot recently. So let's see the Eau Fresh. Of course, this is not a blind buy. I did test them in the store, but I don't remember how it smelled. Oh, this is kind of a citrusy take. It's, yeah, which you would expect from Eau Fresh. Jasmine is the predominant note. This is the main note in all the Wonderlost range. If I was to smell this fragrance on someone, I would have guessed it's a flanker of Light Blue that I don't know. So I will further test this fragrance. The bottle looks almost exactly like the Eau Voyage. So this ombre effect. Love the bottles, by the way, of the whole line. I'm a big fan of Wonderlost, as you can see. So I saved the best for last. So this is the fragrance that I actually own a travel size of, and I absolutely love it. It's Tom Ford Soleil Blanc. I also have Eau de Soleil Blanc, which is the Eau de Toilette version. People say they don't get the difference. I actually do get the difference. I love the bottles of the private blend of Tom Ford. They are so elegant. So let's see. When I first started to follow like fragrance content on YouTube, everybody was obsessed with Soleil Blanc. It was that era that this was the most hyped up fragrance, if you remember that. And everybody was talking about this bougie summer fragrance. And I was actually quite disappointed when I tested it. Yeah, the first time it was a little bit cloying for me, and this is why I went for Eau de Soleil Blanc. But now I absolutely prefer Soleil Blanc, and I get the hype. It's gorgeous. This is the most bougie summer coconut fragrance. Not in a cloying way. It's very elegant and it smells expensive. It's bougie. It's a bougie summer coconut fragrance. It's so sophisticated. There is a lot of notes. There is pistachio, if I remember correctly. There is coconut, a load of notes, but the end result absolutely beautiful. You also get the pistachio, but I wouldn't say that if you didn't know the notes, you would guess there is pistachio. There is kind of this nutty thing going on in the background, but I personally, if I didn't know the notes, I wouldn't have guessed there is pistachio. Beautiful scent. Love it, love it, love it. Soleil Blanc from Tom Ford, highly, highly recommend it. And I would definitely recommend it over Eau de Soleil Blanc. The main difference is Eau de Soleil Blanc is more fresh, and this is a little bit more creamy, more expensive smelling. And it is more expensive, definitely. So that was my last fragrance, and with that I finished the haul. I hope you enjoyed it because it's going to be the last haul you see for quite a while. As you all know, at the beginning of the year, I decided to go on a low buy, and I kind of did well and not, because I definitely didn't buy as much as I did in the last year, for example, but I bought more than I wanted. So now that we are in the middle of the year, I decided to go on a no buy, and the exception for that will be only new releases that I am extremely excited about. But don't worry, you will definitely find a lot of exciting content coming very, very soon on my channel, especially for the summer. As you will know, I love summer fragrances, so a lot of summer content is coming. Don't worry. So the no buy will not affect the content of my channel in any way. I hope you liked this video and you found it helpful, and if you did, please give it a thumb up and consider subscribing to my channel. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you will get notified when I upload any new video. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you next time. Ciao!